Awesome. How are you?
Doing well. How are you doing tonight?
I'm doing well. I'm doing well. Not much, man. It's like it's a beginning of a work week for me. I am just literally just wrapped up with an interview right now. Uh, Chiming in with you and sharing it all over again.
So for everybody at home, tonight we're going to speak to Mr. Joey Arena from the band OVTLIER. Welcome to DaBelly.
Thank you for having me.
Well, great opportunity to talk a little bit about some of the music you've been putting out recently. You've got a series of singles you've been releasing since late 2019. It seems like you're building toward an album. Talk a little bit about the singles that have been coming out. Your most recent, of course, is All I Need. It was out on September 29th.
All I Need is the most recent release that is it's a very vulnerable song for me. It's a song about practicing what you preach. In other words, definitely about my upbringing. I had, unfortunately, a pretty rocky upbringing, like most people, but I'm actually grateful of it, though. I'm grateful of all the situations and the ironically it shapes me into who I am. I feel like honestly it's people look at their mishaps and their traumas and all this stuff, and they sometimes either they feed into them a little bit more, they coddle them a little bit. I choose to think that mine have toughened me and shaped me into a person that I am not ashamed of. You know what I'm saying? So I had an abusive stepfather growing up. I had a dad that was pretty much MIA, and my grandmother had like raised me for a majority of my life. So that's like skimming the surface of it. So, but there was like I never wanted to be home. I always was like either running away or just never wanted to be home. I never wanted to be near all the issues and stuff like that. And that's kind of really it. But I look back at it and I always try to figure out certain things, like why I'm kind of like a more of a shy or a quiet person until you get to know me a little bit. And on an emotional end, like for relationships, I was never like, I guess if all my exes could complain, it would be that I'm not really an emotional person. So and that comes to a thing of just really being like a vulnerability thing. It's a thing that like I was not really comfortable being vulnerable, and I was like being looked at like less of a man and stuff like that. So but that was like the upbringing, and I didn't really have a male role model to show me otherwise. But I didn't want to share. I was not like I never wanted to share how the song was originally written on that level, because I never wanted it to come off as a victimizing or a woe is me type of thing. I didn't want people to take it that way. So I'm actually, to clarify it, I am grateful of these things. I'm like, as ironic as that would be, yeah, I mean, I wish I wasn't, I didn't get the shit kicked out of me so many times. Forgive me if I'm not allowed to swear. But I honestly was, but again, it's the scars that made us, it's the scars that made me who I am. And, that wish doesn't kill you, I guess. So.
Yeah, no, exactly. I mean, I was going to comment the title of your EP, of course, from What Doesn't Kill You, right? And also, I think we all grew up with some bumps and bruises along the way. It just really comes down to what you do with it. And, mentioning that you didn't want to appear to be the victim and so on, I don't think anybody could mistake that with your music. You are so much in the crowd's face, and you're out there and you're bold, and it's great to see you in a live setting. It's very interesting.
Yeah, thank you. Yeah, it's like you said, a lot of us have this. What is the perfect upbringing? I don't know what it is, but I want to. All I can do is share my personal experience, and not to compare, not to compete, not to victim play or anything like this, but more or less to share like, hey, if you can relate on some level,
Yeah.
just like this is it, and like, you know, be proud of who you are, because this is what it is, and no longer give it the negative energy that it deserves, of like, you know, why me and this and that. Like, we can ask why all day long. Why do bad things happen, you know, all
Yeah,
day
yeah.
long? But
Stop making excuses. Just own it and move forward. And then,
that's
you know,
really,
that's the healing part of it, right?
yeah, that is definitely, some therapy taught me that.
So on the song "Spineless," you had an opportunity to work with Danny Leal from Upon a Burning Body. How did that all come out?
Man, so Danny, I when I wrote Spineless, I was like, you know, man, this would sound really good. I Years ago, I had the idea, and I didn't want to go public with it until a couple interviews, that I wanted to do every single song that I release, but release the same song with a guest vocalist on it, just to hear
Oh,
their take on it, to hear with another voice over it. And I wanted to make a whole record of guest appearances,
yeah.
and then release the same record but without the guest appearances. And you know, unfortunately, I didn't have enough studio time booked to keep doing it, so it's just been piece by piece of that vision. And I sent the song to Danny just on a whim, and he wrote me back, and he's like, "Dude, I love this. I'm all about it. Um, you know, I will." You know, he got right into it. He hopped right in the studio. He wrote his thing. I sent him the lyrics. We passed around a couple ideas of where he should take it, and I totally heard his voice on it. I didn't even reach out to anybody else. He was the one and only guy for the job.
It's great to find those moments that it resonates the moment that it happens, and you know instantly that's the one.
Oh yeah. Oh, it was great. And he said, he's like, if you don't even use it, you know, it's totally cool. You know, like the song is great either way. He's like, I'm a fan of this song for sure. So it was, and we caught up the other day too about it. And he goes, man, this song's like, he's like, I still love this song. It's just, he's an awesome guy. He's a down to earth individual, and I thank him a lot for being a part of it.
Yeah, it's great. Another one of your more recent releases, of course, is Bulletproof. That song is so in your face. It's so alive. And it's going to be great to see that live.
It's a fan favorite. They would definitely, people have asked for it. They yell it in the crowd, but like earlier in the set, like, and then when it comes on, they're singing it, they're screaming it right back at me. My mom, even my mom, who doesn't like she doesn't like my heavier side of music. She goes, I love this song. It's wild. She'll send me videos of her dancing to it, and it's just like super aggressive. So it's pretty funny to see it.
Well,
Even the moms love it.
I know the purpose of Outlier was really to allow you to spread your wings. You felt trapped in your earlier incarnation with Youngbloods, and talk about the freedoms that you have in this band that allows you to sort of explore different types of expression in your music, the way you approach it vocally as much as musically.
So I'm a person that constantly likes to grow. I like to push myself. I like to push my body. And with that, I like to push my voice. I like to try new things and experience as much as I can on all fronts of living, I guess. And Outlier gave me the freedom that I got back to my roots when I created Outlier. I completely was like, I was so over the Youngbloods idea, the image, the sound, the all the suits that I call them with their hands, and you know, like puppeteering, like to sound like this or to go like that. And it was just, I was you know, pleasing everybody but myself. And I'm like, this is not why I started playing music in the first place. So to get out of all of it, I started fresh. And I I was gonna name my record Outlier, and when I read the definition, like sat and read the definition of an outlier, I'm like, oh my god, because you always hear like, how do you describe yourself in one word? You like, you know, just over the years, people, friends, or interviews or whatever, I never had an answer for it. I'm like, I don't know, like so, like that one word is like me to a T, like everything. And I'm just like, this is it. This is the name. And it was so freeing to have a name because the name is your branding. So right there, I always thought I was expressing my true self in the name. Now let's do it with the music. And I was sitting one night in the studio, and it was like after hours of the studio, and I was just sitting at the desk, and I got a big TV as a monitor above the console, and I stumbled upon like Corn from like Woodstock '99, and I'm like, oh my god! And I was such a Corn head. I mean, I bought my first real guitar was an Ibanez RG series just because like Head and Monkey and like I was like, oh man. So I saw them play Blind Live, and when I saw that crowd move, I saw just the power that that band has over to control a crowd for the fans to feel his music, to feel Jonathan Davis's lyrics and like the band's music and all that stuff. I was like, that's what it's really about. So I was in the process of writing and scrapping, and then I created What Doesn't Kill You. Ironically, I titled it that, and slowly every release I've been inching to just open myself up more and more and more through the material, because I definitely was like, I never shared anything about my life, and I'm sure if I had shared my business with friends or again previous ex-girlfriends, like they would have maybe had a better understanding of why I'm so like, I guess maybe with my core sex here or whatever they would have thought or something. So I after some therapy, after my grandmother passed away, I hit a very intense grief. I shut down probably every which way possible, emotionally, physically. I like the height of my day was literally just taking a shower, and then I would get back to bed. It's like I couldn't even do anything, and eventually it would drive to the gym, but sit in the parking lot waiting for a caffeine buzz, and I still couldn't. So I would drive back home. So I ended up going to therapy, and it was the first time I was open to it, and it just unpacked all of the stuff, like everything. And now we're finding songs like Who We Are and Bulletproof and All I Need. Everything is coming out now. So it's like, because I'm using it, it's my audio diary. You know what I'm saying? So it's become therapy to me, or therapy for me, that now I'm seeing fans relate on a whole different level now, and that it just feels good. It feels good that when people come up to me saying that my music saved their life, or that my music got them through the hardest time of their life, or got them through a big breakup or something like that, that is success to me. So that's what keeps me going.
That's you had you were enjoying some success with Youngbloods, and it's hard to overstate the amount of, let's call it, bravery it takes for someone to say, listen, I got something that's good right now, but this ain't it. Okay, there's a lot of bands out there that fight for any success. You were enjoying some, and you said, nope, not the way we're going to go here. Let's just change up and do something better. It's remarkable to have that sense and that bravery to be able to step forward, and it's kind of a fearless moment. And I'm really enjoying your music, so I'm happy that you did it, of course.
Thank you. I appreciate that. Yeah, I believe getting back to my roots and being my most authentic self, it translates in the music, and therefore the fans can see that. People can see that when somebody's just kind of full of it in their music, I feel. And and it's just really it feels good, because naturally it was just for me. It wasn't really about other people. It wasn't like doing something for the fans, but I realized naturally me just being me is being well received. And like I said, that's what success is, because as a tormented musician, every musician should ask themselves, and not rock star, but musician, not doing it for the chicks and the glory and the fame and all that crap. It's really about, like, at what point am I satisfied with this? And I realize I'm never satisfied, but as long as I'm playing music, I'm satisfied. So that's all that it really comes down to. So that's where I get enjoyment out of it, and that's what I find success in, is my music just touching people in some of the best ways possible.
So your recent singles, you've released with Zoid Entertainment's been involved in that whole process. And I also read that you're shopping for a label. You've had some challenges with labels along the way. Are you sure you want to be shopping for a label, or?
Well, that's why. Okay, so that's hysterical. So I have. That's why I've held out as long as I have working with labels. The Zoid guys are great people. We did things just going based on the agreement of doing a couple singles, but we need more. We need more financial backing, and we need to be a little bit more of a priority to a label, and we want to only work with people that believe in us. And I don't mean believe in us to be their tax write-off, but I mean could be, believe in us. I don't want to be shelved. I don't want to be any of that. I've released on 4 different labels, and they were all experiences that I choose to never relive again. And I took a hardcore interest in the business side of this industry a long time ago. I've read books from entertainment lawyers and managers, and I really dissected my understanding, and like dove in even deeper of what it is in this industry and what it's about. And obviously this industry keeps declining rapidly, but there are still some good deals that are being done, but you have to get that special treatment. So what we're doing is we're just continuously building our worth until somebody realizes our worth, and then we'll let conversation and then the contract speak from there. So there's a lot of this. There's a lot of this in this industry, and a lot of people, I can do this for you. And when I started out, I turned down a good handful of contracts that I knew were going to put me in the same old place, and I didn't want to deal with that. And I wanted to continue to grow and shape as a musician, find an identity, and just get myself to a place of self-running and happy. I mean, we technically don't need a label. We have everything we need. We really do. More money would obviously give you more exposure, but we can also we can save up for something like that if we need to, or get an investor somewhere. So, I mean, it really comes down to it. If something special happens, then it happens. But we're gonna do these little cool unorthodox, these unorthodox approach right now. That's what I'm really about. Every time, like, why are you doing this? And who's that label? And they're not a household name. It's like, that doesn't mean anything. That doesn't mean anything. Like, I have major label distribution. That's not the worry here. It's not. It's about the people that are gonna back up what they say they're gonna do, and put the money where their mouth is, and us believing in them and them believing in us. And just, I want to have a good, friendly business, relationship with somebody. And I believe it can happen. I own a business. I own a remodeling business. So when I went back to residential, because people take pride in their home, and it makes me feel good knowing they're going to get the return on their investment when they go to sell, or they're increasing equity, or whatever the case may be. And there's a happiness. Then there's a returning of business. So they're happy I didn't screw them over. So,
and it is a great approach, having the second business on the side. Of course, you understand the meaning of your word, your promise.
absolutely.
And that's been very fleeting in the music industry for a lot of years.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. Snakes everywhere.
Oh, well. So as you continue building on the new record, what are the thoughts of touring? 22, you're going to be out and full blown tour and show the world.
Oh yeah, yeah. I mean, we wrapped up a tour with Gemini Syndrome a few weeks ago. We went out. We were direct support for them on this last run. We went out with them before for about 6 weeks, and we were support for them then. Greatest guys. Can't thank them enough for sharing the road with us and taking us under their wing. We're definitely going to go back out in 2022. We're waiting for a couple of things to pan out here. I have some studio dates at the middle and the end of January, some stuff in February and March. So we're going to be going out probably around, February, March months, and working from there. We're just waiting to hear back, honestly. But we've been submitted for, a good handful of things that we're hoping pan out. So we'll see. The industry's weird right now, because a lot of bands are trying to recoup from the last couple of years. Like the bands that do rely on the money from touring, and to take out other bands is to share part of their guarantee. And if we go out, we're taking a pay cut because we're definitely something well below what we would normally receive, but we get to go out and hopefully hustle and make up for it in merch, which is what we've been doing. So if you see us out, it's, you know, primarily because we're relying on merch, and we're grateful that the bands that we go out with are willing to share part of their pot just to get us, you know, help us, you know, keep our heads above water. So that's really what it is. That's the industry right now in a nutshell for the touring market. And, you know, so we're willing to be a part of it as long as we can get from A to B, rely on our merch, and pray that it gets better from here on out.
Yeah, it was such a challenge. I mean, we went a year and a half or so without any touring at all, and then here comes the flood, and of course, then you're fighting for your dollar because the fan can only afford so many shows, although they want to go to all of them. You know,
Right.
you do what you
Right.
do. So that pairing, you know, you with Gemini Syndrome, of course, was a great pairing. To see your two bands together, you're so complementary. I'm sure you share audience. That's a great fit, and finding that synergy between a couple of bands is a challenge. It's you know, you try to work the shows, but you end up sometimes with what you get.
Yeah, they were, oh my God, they're just awesome people. They're some of the most genuine individuals, and I was like so sad to say goodbye to them. Especially the first tour, because I didn't like, after the first tour, I was like, you know, we were hugging and, you know, like sharing heart to heart moments. And I mean, you're on the road with these guys for 6 weeks every day, and you're just toughing it out with them, and, you know, eating meals with them, and like, having good times, partying, and just having a good time. And they, on the last day, Brian looks at us and goes, "Oh, we'll see you guys. We'll see you guys in the fall." And we're like, "What?" And he goes, "Yeah, you're gonna come back out with us, right?" And we're like, yeah, is this the invite, the formal invite?" And he goes, "Yeah." I'm like, "Okay, yeah, sure. Then we'll see you in the fall." So it was a very, it went from being somewhat sad to like, okay, I'll see you guys soon. So, but yeah, no, there was great chemistry, and the fans, like, yeah, like you said, it was people that, you know, we shared a fan base for those that did, you know both bands. So it was great.
Yeah. That's all the questions I have tonight. Is there anything I missed? Is there anything else you want to talk about?
That's really it. I mean, we got into it. It's great.
Well, I hope I didn't get you too hard. We try to keep it as light as possible, but sometimes, you know, you have fun. You get in there and you pour out your
I
heart.
I have a tendency to ramble for sure. So
Didn't ramble at all. We're in good shape.
awesome.
All right. Well, I want to thank you for your time tonight. I appreciate it.
Thank you for having me. I appreciate it.